Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showcasing the first evolution for the suit Dance Till Dawn. If you haven't seen the previous one, I would encourage you to. I've linked it, but without further ado, let's begin. So first things first, I do want to say, I initially didn't think I wanted to get the evolution. I totally forgot to get the pose, you need the evolution, the first one, in my opinion, which is ridiculous. And then I got the evolution, yay! And oh my gosh, the pose is just so cute. I really love this current one, the original one. And the second one, at first I didn't really like it. Of course, I'll be talking about it further along the video, but that is how I felt initially. The individual pieces, there is a lot. Some I love, some I don't like. And of course, just the overall color, which is yellow. I'm not really a big fan of the color yellow. It can work really well at times, but not every time. And I think because this color is at the start, it's kind of hard for me to justify it. I really wanted the pink one, and I should have gone for it because I used my diamonds to get the Whispers of Bliss and the jacket from Verdant Melodies Memories. In my opinion, I think the makeup goes really well with the overall aesthetic from the suit. I wasn't really sure if this one would be as great as the original one. I think I prefer the original color palette compared to the yellow. If I had to choose, I think I like browns / blues / red and different shades compared to yellow in my opinion. So it was always going to be an easy choice. Which one would I prefer, the original or the yellow? The original. But regardless of that, I think the detail is still immaculate even with the color palette. Especially with the tights, I think you can really see it very well. The bow design, the crisscross, the different shades of yellow. Like one shade is light yellow and the other one is more creamy yellow. In my opinion, that's the color I'm getting. And I think it really looks good because the red one threw me off. It kind of hurt my eyes. But this one, easier to look at. More appealing in my opinion. So I think this overall suit is beautiful. Has some complaints, but it's still beautiful. But I'm also very happy that the color palette, which is blue, yellow, gold, doesn't strip away from the detail, since they could have, if not done correctly, made the colors fade out all of the detail. So on the top, the lines on the left side of the dress is very eye-catching because it's gold, so it stands out and you won't miss that design, which is beautiful. So I'm happy that they was able to color coordinate certain areas so that you're not missing it, because the previous color palette was, I think, really strong. I'm just as happy that even though they changed it, it doesn't mean that you're losing anything from it. I'm not sure if I really like this color palette, but at least I know it doesn't mean that they're ruining the overall aesthetic, because it is a 5-star. If it's a 5-star, I want to see all the detail onto it. The individual pieces. So the hair, at first I wasn't really a fan of it, especially with the color palette of, I don't know, like gold / rusty yellow, rusty mustard. I'm not really sure what color I would call that, but at first it wasn't one for me because I was very scared how it would look onto my Nikki. And thinking about the shape of it, beautiful. I like how long it is. Thinking about the transition from the yellow to the blue, I still don't understand why there is blue. It just doesn't make sense. But other than that, I think it still looks beautiful. The shape is there. The color, now having it, is there, and I'm actually using it more. So for the dress, let's talk about it. I at first wasn't really into it. I could see the blue with the hair because at the front section it has a transition from gold/yellow to blue, and I think I could see that, but it's not really hammered home as much when you compare it with the hair. Other than that, I love the corset design on the back, the star shining as it should be, the confetti falling down, like all the details are changed to both blue and gold/yellow, making it shiny, holographic, the lace, wow, the tinsel, still calling it tinsel, wow. Honestly, I didn't think the yellow color palette could work as well as it is, but it's doing it and I've got to praise it. So I like it. My only complaint is I'm not really a fan of yellow. That's my biggest problem. I think they could have chosen a different color for this evolution that could have been more interesting than the color yellow. Even though it's like beautiful, I think they could have chosen a different color that could have been even better. The way they styled it, it's nice, but better. What do you want? Better. Still, I'm so sad for Nikki having to wear that strap just to hold it up. Changing the time to night, I think the yellow works beautiful. She's a star. And there's so many stars in this. Wow. Oh my gosh, unfold. Okay, so if that's the idea and concept they were trying to go for, involve the design team, I can understand it because yellow, she's like a star. She's literally shining like a star with this suit. So I could understand that. But at the same time, I don't think they really conveyed it particularly well. Like comparing it to the original color palette, she looks like a Ferrero Rocher. She looks like chocolate, bonbon, and carnival vibes, you could say. And I don't really get any link towards brown/red to yellow, which seems to be trying to say she's a star. But moving on to the tights now, I have to confess, I actually appreciate these tights more than the originals, just because it's so much easier to look at when you compare this one to the red one. I think they really know how to balance the two different shades of yellow, and it's not throwing me off, it's not making me not want to look at it, it's not too distracting. It's just really good, and you can really see the two different shades not trying to fight for too much attention from each other. And finally, I can really see the bow, and that's my favorite part. You want to see everything, every little detail on these pieces. For the shoes, it's cute. I think I'm not really interested in the white because it kind of bores me. I think white is a universal color, which I appreciate, and I like how the sheer material is blue this time rather than brown/gold, but it's just boring. I think the yellow is the most interesting part about it. So the bows on the back, the tinsel wrapping around Nikki's legs, and that's it. It's just, I see a lot of white and it kind of bores me. So I think they could have maybe done better with the color palette, not just relying on the white and yellow. Okay, so this might sound harsh, but I don't like this. I think I'm just tired of looking at this specific accessory. Looking at the difference between the evolution and the original with the color palette, it doesn't feel different. I could see like small hints, but when it's that small, you're not really going to notice it. So I think they lacked for that. And considering the placement and where it is on the hair, I don't even feel like I would notice it. You could literally remove it and you wouldn't even notice. So that's a bummer for me. As you know, Even when adding the original, it's just boring. I think it's really lacking and it's kind of sad. It is very sad, in my opinion. Not just the design, but the color palette and the overall aesthetic. I understand what they were trying to go for with the shape of a diamond, but it's just boring. So moving on to the headwear accessory, I'm okay with this. I actually like how much blue is incorporated onto this one, because looking at this piece from a further point of view, it looks great. I can actually notice the blue. The yellow, I think, is very bright, it's very bold, and I think that's really good. It's not too bad. I think the shade is really pretty, considering also the holographicness onto the texture. Holographicness, is that even a word? But yeah, I think it's really nice, and I think the accessory actually would work better with a darker hair color, in my opinion. I think it stands out more compared to this hair, the original one, so the rusty gold yellow. It feels as though it's bright, but it's somewhat being washed out. I think it's better with a darker hair color. So as you can see, now tell me if you think it's true. For the earrings, you know where I stand if you watched the previous video. I'm not interested. I like the design, I like the shape, but it's just a missed opportunity. I think on darker hair color, it really does stand out, especially on this color palette of the hair, because one, you can't even notice it because of the shape of the hair, but two, because the hair color is rusty gold, rusty yellow, the color of the earrings are washed out, and comparing it to the original, it's not a big difference. So I'm kind of sad about that, because it doesn't feel like they're pushing the boundaries or pushing and experimenting. It feels like it's just a tad, but you needed 180 pulls to complete it, you know? Anyways, I do think the hair just doesn't really sit well with this, especially these earrings. In the night, I think it works really nice, but it's not always going to be night. It's going to be day, noon, afternoon. Wait, afternoon or noon? Yeah, that's how I feel about the earrings. I think the shape is pretty, and if you look at it from different sides, it's really pretty. But yeah, I don't think it was executed the best. The choker, on the other hand, I really like the choker. I just realized I have to, of course, change the hairstyle because it's covering a certain part of the choker. I really like the color palette, the yellow, the blue. It works really well, adding more depth to why there's blue. I think my problem with how much blue is being involved in this design is that from the previous original color palette, it felt as though it was only from the hair. That's why we had blue, and it threw me off. But considering the second evolution, that there is more reinforcement to say, oh, certain pieces have blue, such as the choker, the dress, certain part, the front part of the dress, and some other pieces. That's why. So I think I really like how the choker has more depth to the blue color palette, or just adding blue. And they work really well. The frills, the shape, the bow, wow. As you can see, comparing to the original color palette of the first choker, I appreciate this one more because I like how bold the red is compared to the yellow, where the yellow seems more neutral. Moving on to the sleeves now. Oh, sorry. Moving on to the gloves. It's 11 p.m. I'm recording this at 11 p.m. so please don't blame me. Anyways, I think the gloves are okay. I like the shape. You know I love the shape. And the triangles, still don't understand why it had to be cut out like that, but it's fine. And the involvement with certain stripes on the gloves that has yellow at the top half, beautiful. Wow. They really incorporated it really well without being too much. It's subtle. But when you zoom in and you see the bottom part, I don't know if I really like how bright that gold is, because it really does throw me off when you compare it with the hair. And at the ends of that is blue, and I don't like that ombre. It just doesn't look nice to me. No offense. Remember, everyone take it as a grain of salt, please. my favorite piece from this suit, which is the bear. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if I like it or if I don't. I am quite 50-50. You know, I love the shape, it's adorable. The balloons, wow, adorable. But at the same time, I think comparing the color of the yellow to the tights, the bear really does throw me off how bright the yellow is. I would have preferred a subtle and more lighter shade of yellow for the bear. Like, when you compare the hair to the bear is just so bright that I don't know if it's supposed to be or if it's correct, but it doesn't really work well in my opinion. It's still cute, you know, I'm gonna use it, but I do feel like there's a difference between the hair color and the bear, and it does somewhat throw me off that, oh, they're from the same suit, the same evolution. Nah, not really. But as you know, we've already talked about the makeup in my previous videos, so much about it again, other than I love the makeup. And on the evolution, she still looks beautiful. The rusty, I'm sorry, the rusty yellow can still work with the makeup, which amazes me because I didn't think that I could. But other than that, I think I prefer the original color palette compared to the evolution, because I think the evolution, the individual pieces are really nice, but I don't think I could really style it. And how bright the yellow is on certain pieces, it just really does throw me off. They don't have to, but they are. I think there is a big emphasis on the blue in this evolution, so I could see it and I could see why blue is hammered home on this one, but I don't think there is a justification on the original one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!